All right. Welcome back. So when Terry and Mike say our show starts at 7, you guys always know it's like somewhere between 10 and 15 minutes late. All right. So apologize. Like we always say, what do you want for nothing? Right. So we got a super cool guest tonight. Ivan Rankin. He was actually he was a Green Beret um for a while, which that intrigues me in itself. We could do a show on that. He works with Michael Flynn. He was in the Defense Intelligence Agency, a DC attorney, and he's like the Democrats' biggest fucking nightmare. They hate him, and so he is actually going. You know how we say Venezuelan hunting here? He's going leftist hunting in DC, and we want to hear all about. Yeah, we want to.
Huh.
It's about time we take people are held accountable.
Yes.
But right,
The deep
Yeah,
state
reporting
marauder.
reporting live from Retribution headquarters.
yeah, yes.
Yep.
Nice.
So why don't you give yourself a better bio than what I just did, right? And then we'll jump in and we'll follow your lead on any cool shit that talks about going Democrat hunting.
I don't know, 25 years I spent in our national security system. I culminated with dual hatted. One was I was an instructor at the Defense Intelligence Agency teaching junior, mid-level up to senior generals on how to critically think and do intelligence analysis. Gave them the overview of the whole national security ecosystem, nuts to bolts to soup to everything, up, down, left, right, and in between. Our U.S. involvement in multinational operations, the kind of global order, and then in the reserves, I was a tech scout on behalf of the Army out in Silicon Valley. So
Hmm.
yeah, I need to highlight that in the sense that in order to understand the 10 years of tyranny and treason that took place, you got to understand the Silicon Valley censorship industrial complex and the
Yes.
relationships that they had with our federal government that weaponized against us.
Mhm.
And I don't know of other than General Flynn, I don't really know too many people that have an in-depth understanding of the ecosystem of our enemy.
Mhm.
So, and then I would say I'm one of the distant seconds, thirds. Now, don't get me wrong, Cash Patel knows it. The last 10 years from a legislative perspective, Devin Nunes also knows it from a legislative perspective, and I'm here to help kind of fill in the blanks on some of these things that they may not have had time to do.
Mhm.
So, just to
Sure.
help out in the court of public opinion.
When without like sharing secrets and stuff, like how do you peel back the onion, right? To find out this stuff that they're clearly going to try to hide from all of us. Um, like again, without sharing any trade secrets or anything. Like, how do you go about something like that, right? And trying to uncover all the crazy shit that's going on behind the scenes.
Well, that's a really good question. I will uncover everything that I can, to be honest. These guys deserve it. And
Yep.
unfortunately, we don't have enough courage in our current administration yet to hold these people to account. And that's really, a lot of people say, "Oh, it's a meme. I'm a troll. I'm this and that." No, I'm not actually trying to motivate maximum courage of every single American citizen that
Mm-hmm.
applies the maximum motivation on our current institutions that we just are starting to replace with more courageous individuals to hold the previous tyrants to account. So, like, I mean, it's an arc. It just doesn't happen overnight. We
Yes.
went
Yes.
from a total tyrannical, lawless, belligerent, murderous, treasonous, mutinous, name every single felony you can think of and every criminal
Mm-hmm.
violation of our Constitution, all amendments,
Mm-hmm.
all sections, 7 sections and 27 amendments, basically, they are involved in.
Mm-hmm.
So we
Well,
went from that and we transitioned over to what I call, and a lot of people are going to get offended by it because
okay.
victims are always offended by
Of
my
course.
First Amendment. And I'm going to say it this way: that we went from a tyrannical, illegitimate regime to a mostly initially beta cuck coward
Okay.
administration. Now,
Well, yeah,
eight
and
months into it, 8 months into it, I can give you reports that some of that administration I would give an A plus to.
Mm-hmm.
Some of
sure.
it I would give it a 0 to an F.
Mm.
So let's start with the good ones, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And I'm gonna get to your. I'm giving context to be able to answer your question. I didn't forget it.
Okay.
I like long-winded answers here.
Nothing wrong with
I used to
that.
teach. I used to teach. So the people that are getting an A plus from my perspective are those that are starting to reverse the last 4 or 5 years of what they did, meaning they censored the entire country into compliance and into consenting to their lies. Okay. So what do? We reverse the censorship. We start to flood the information war landscape and the ecosystem with actual factual information so that you can't really rebut it. You have to divert and talk about other things. So who's responsible for disclosing and declassifying all this information? People that know it, right? People that access to classified information. That classified, I use quotes because, well, guess what? The previous regime, the Comeys, the Brennans, the Chris Rays, the Clappers of the world, et cetera, et cetera. I mean, I can go into a list of 1,500 people, but we're not going to do it tonight. You can go to my deep state target list, but I'll just highlight some of the key ones. The Raskins, the Schiffs, the Pelosi's, the McConnells, right? The Jim Bakers, the Joe Pienkas, the Brian Aughtons, the John Roberts, excuse me.
Yeah.
And so who has access to release the FISA information and communications between the FISA court judges and the staff and the Supreme Court judge, the Chief Justice? And who has the access to disclose information between those individuals and their communications with the 51 spies who lied that covered for the Biden criminal syndicate laptop? And who amongst those has access to their communications with the 39 that illegally unmasked General Flynn? The impeachment managers that were part of impeachment hoax 1 led by Adam Schiff. The impeachment managers led by the impeachment hoax number 2 led by Jamie Raskin and his wife and her involvement on unmasking General Flynn.
Yeah.
So as you start to look at the whole ecosystem of players that were involved in the treason after cover-up, escalatory treason, right? You start to see a trend. You start to see relationships. You start to see things that an intelligence officer that used to teach intelligence analysis picks up pretty quickly, especially when you're focusing your attention on it.
Yeah.
And so as I observe it, and oh, by the way, as I lived through some of it with a first or second row seat to it, going back to 2014, not 2016. So then it begs the question, Ivan, why are you saying 10 years of treason? Shouldn't it be 11 years of treason? Why, yes, it should. But 11 starts with an E and 10 starts with the T. 10 years of treason sounds a little bit better. And so let's go back to 2014 and it begs the question. Wait, Ivan, you're saying you had a front row seat going back to 2014. Isn't that when the auto pen pardoned all these people back to was 2014? Why, that's a great question, gentlemen. Let me respond this way. In 2014, your guest here was on one of the senior analysts on the Ukraine crisis team, stood up in the Pentagon to address Russia's invasion of Ukraine. And as your guest was there, he observed some things, both looking at streams of classified information and also streams of unclassified information. And also when he wasn't on duty, he was using his personal time to continue to monitor the situation as well in open source media. And what did I observe? The Biden criminal syndicate initiated at scale in 2014 because Barry Hussein directed the failed Vice President Biden to go to Ukraine. Why? To go ahead and solidify John Brennan's coup in Ukraine and make money hand over fist. How? This is all public. He went over there in order to be able to help Petro Poroshenko develop in unconventional ways their economy. The unconventional way that he was thinking of was, why don't I hire my crack baby son, Hunter Biden, to sniff out oil and gas fields out there in Ukraine? Left nostril, right?
Yeah.
Right.
Yep.
Oil, right nostril, gas. And oh, by the way,
Right.
let's put him on the board of Burisma so that he can earn Yeah, of course, earned because of his subject matter expertise.
Yeah.
$83,333.33 every month,
per month, and he wasn't the only
which rounds to $1
politician's
million
kid.
a
Yeah.
year. So he could spend it on hookers and blow. But I digress. Let's go back. So 2014, my front row seat was at the Ukraine crisis team as I observed Brennan going over there, teeing up the meeting that Biden would have so that he could tee up his son that was just kicked out of the Naval Reserves for pissing hot on his drug test
50
after the
years old.
first drill. And so now, all of a sudden, crack baby son, Hunter, gets his little position. And since then, you've seen cover up after escalatory cover up in order to protect the Biden criminal syndicate. If I may, gentlemen, if you can give me 1 minute, I'll kind of give you the categories over 2014 to 2025.
Please
11
take it
years
away.
worth. Here we go. 2014, the pay for play scheme. But then there's a presidential campaign kicks off 2015-16. Next thing you know, oh crap, Donald Trump is winning the primary in July of 2016. So the Republicans on this side of the coin are like, whoa, this guy's not in our political ecosystem. We're going to have to put a box around him. So what do they offer him? Mike Pence as his handler. Otherwise, they wouldn't support him. So then as Mike Pence as his handler on behalf of the Republican side of things, since he was the Republican Governors Association president or head, what do? Within 2 weeks of that happening, Crossfire Hurricane kicks off. What has Tulsi Gabbard been doing?
Releasing classified documents related to the coup.
Let me stretch a little bit while you say that again. What'd you say?
Releasing all the classified documents related to the coup, the cover-up, and everything else where our intel agencies were involved.
What grade do you think I would give Tulsi Gabbard for doing that? An A+.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Is she stopping there? No, she started off with the 1960s. Let's go back 67 years. RFK, JFK, LMLK releases. And then next thing you know is, let's look at the 2016 Jim Comey. By the way, if you go online right now, just before, as we were getting set up for the show, it looks like we just got another nice little tranche that Catherine Herridge is reporting on as of an hour ago, called the Jim Comey Flynn timeline. So as America starts to wake up further, I'm sure you guys are well tracking on this.
Oh, yeah.
So in order for them to be able to cover up the Biden criminal syndicate 2014, all that papers play, the China money, etc., they couldn't have Trump in office. Not because Trump was going to be in office. It's because General Flynn was going to be his national security advisor. That's why they couldn't have Trump in office, because the very first person that knew where to look and was able to do so with the network knowledge and expertise of the system over a third of a century worth of expertise in the intel national security apparatus, General Flynn and his network, wink, wink, would have been in a position to immediately dissect the Biden criminal syndicate, because General Flynn's network, wink, wink, when he was the director of the DIA, was running the team that was in the Pentagon National Military Command Center, the likes of me that saw these things, okay? So we would be in a position in January of 2017 to start to scratch that itch. And as that itch was scratched, whoa, a little bit of spying here, a little bit of treason there. Oh, wait, a whole lot of treason here and a whole lot of treason. Wait, you're a military officer. That's a whole lot of mutiny and sedition and other felony crimes. But what did they do? They had to remove their number one threat. What's his name?
General Flynn.
Why? Because he knew the system and he knew the people. Personally, he knew all the people. So, but what does Mike Pence do? Because he doesn't. Mike Pence represents the Republicans.
Yeah.
To the Republicans, General Flynn
Allegedly,
represents what? A former Democrat that has no relations to the Republican Party, and President Trump doesn't have really any loyalties or owes anything to the Republican Party either. That's problematic to the Republican Party. So what do? Yes, folks, they lock arms. I
Yep.
still haven't figured out whether it was in parallel that this was going on or in coordination. I don't have enough evidence to support it. But
It's probably a
Tulsi Gabbard,
combination of the two,
but I
to be
would say that
honest.
Tulsi Gabbard is probably going to be able to showcase that if she hasn't already. I don't know. In the last hour, that may have taken place now. But as I've been reporting on this, my analysis has shown that it was done. It was either in parallel or in conjunction.
Yep.
And the more I look at it, it's probably more. There were some touch points. It was maybe mostly in parallel, but they were at the highest levels, little touch points to make sure that the takeout of General Flynn was done by both senior leaders of both political parties. My confidence level grows with every day of reading and studying this. That's probably what took place.
So I'm following you now to answer my question about peeling back the onion. It's hard.
You got to have insiders. Yes, short answer. You got to have insiders that can work it.
Because you got the abusers are not going to tell on the abusers.
Exactly.
Oh, man,
clean insiders, mind you.
I had 12 years in junior college, man. I got my.
Yeah.
No, but I mean, the thing is, like, okay, I have all this education, blah blah blah. Most people get this at a gut level. You just feel it. You don't have to do all the reading and studying. My favorite interview that I did was with the Hodge twins. They sense it. They can look at stuff and just literally sniff it out because they got street smarts. When you have street smarts, you know that when something's BS and when something's legit. You can't say, "Hey, here's the full up 100% evidence."
Yep.
But you know it. Most of the country knows it from like that instinct level. I'm just the guy that says, "Hey, here's the binder." Most people don't have time to read through that binder. Let me spend the time to look through. Now with AI, it's easier. The tens of thousands of documents and say, "Hey, look at this. What do you think? Is this treason or not?" By the way, here's the rule when it's treason. Here's what happened. This is the law for treason. And when you do it that way in a simple term, everybody's like, "Yeah, 100%, 100%." So we're getting to that level now with the classified documents that Tulsi's releasing.
Yes.
But here's our problem. Remember, I said we got A+ in the administration. Yeah. We haven't even gotten to Bobby Kennedy from today. Just hitting grand slams like every at bat.
Oh yeah.
So let's go to the Fs. Okay, great. The treason's there. The evidence is there. The communications are there. The private communications, the public communications, the classified, the unclassified. It's all there. I mean, for me, it's been 10 years.
Yeah.
So when they say, "Oh, trust the plan, wait for it."
Yeah, right.
Bro, I've been planning this out for a while and I've kind of guided things a little bit. I'm a very patient man. And my patience is it's not thin, it's over with.
Yes.
Okay? And so now we're at a point where I'm observing folks that are at an F, deep into the second semester of this administration. First semester was 6 months in, right? We're in the middle of the second semester. At this point in time in 2021, under the illegitimate Biden criminal syndicate regime, we had over 600 unlawful raids, arrests.
Correct.
Of election justice rally attendees that were trying to wake the country up that the 2020 election was full stop illegitimate.
Yep.
From start to finish. Right?
Yep.
But the Biden criminal syndicate, remember, we talked about cover-ups. The 2014 thing had to be covered up with the takeout of Flynn. The 2016 spying was in order to get the dirt on Flynn to take him out, right? 2016 to 17 transition. The takeout of Flynn 2017, but they couldn't have him communicate with Trump to be able to advise him externally, so they had to weaponize him through lawfare to make sure that he couldn't communicate with President Trump. So he was bogged down with 2017, 2018 lawfare litigation. That was over with. Then you had the Mueller investigation going on, which was the cover up to the previous stuff. And what happened? You got people like Lindsey Graham was in on it, providing top cover as the Senate Judiciary Chairman on that Mueller probe. You had Mike Pence. Oh, what role did Mike Pence have? And his chief of staff, Josh Pitcock, and and Josh's wife, Catherine, who was Peter Strzok's senior intel analyst for Russia.
Yeah.
A lot of people are like, whoa, what?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, when you lay it,
I provide you the scum and 8K fidelity at this point, down to the pixel level.
well, yeah,
All
with
right, so
the
the cover-ups, 2018, 2019. Mueller comes out in May of 2019, does his dementia little babble rattle in front of Congress, and then the very next day after that fails, what happens? John Brennan's lawyer, Eric Cheramel, Andrew
Sure.
Bakaj, along with his buddy Mark Zaid, lawyers start to represent Eric Cheramella to do the fake whistleblow scheme with Adam Bullshiff.
Yep.
Okay. Treason. What's the maximum punishment which is appropriate in this circumstance for treason? We all know
Death.
what it is. It's called capital punishment.
Yep.
But we don't have a Department of Justice that is doing anything.
Right.
0.
Mhm.
Okay, there's 50 to 59% is an F.
Mhm.
We're at 0.
Mhm.
Well, exactly. I mean, I can't believe they even, honestly, I can't believe they pursued the charges on LaMonica MacGyver, let alone anybody else. We've seen them back down, drop charges for these people attacking ICE agents in California. We haven't seen them move forward on anything else. It's been a total standstill. I was watching Annie Polina Luna. She sent a criminal referral over 10 weeks ago now. For Christopher Wray. They have 2 separate referrals for Wray, and the DOJ has done nothing. They're sitting on 9 referrals for different deep staters that were sent over from Congress for just lying under oath. So we can get to their bigger crimes later, but at the left, they fight the battle to win. That means you take the pieces off the board. You charge them, and you make the process is the punishment. You make them start spending money for lawyers. You make them careful about what they say in the media. But we won't play the game to win. I don't understand what Bondi's problem is. A lot of these are open and shut cases. So why can't we get some indictments and some arrests? Go ahead, Ivan.
Easy answer to that. Domestic terrorist Democrats stab you in the face, and the Republicans stab you in the back.
Yep.
That's all it is.
What kind
All
of
right,
grade,
we
what
can't
kind of
even.
grade do you give
Let me
Bondi?
back up. Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
What kind of grade do you give Bondi?
0.
Yeah.
Now, I was polite on Matt Gaetz' show a few weeks ago, where I was like, he was comparing her to President Trump's previous attorneys general.
Mhm.
I'm like, okay, if you compare it to his previous attorneys general, best case scenario, I'll give her a D-. Okay,
Mhm.
That's a little generous.
because let's face it, they spent 4 years of no arrests, right,
Yeah.
during the first term. She's only been in the position for 6 months, whatever,
Mhm.
and no arrests. So I guess you could say it's a D-, but it's slipping down to 0 quickly. And
Mhm.
now we're 3-4 weeks later. Now she's back, down to 0, basically, in my opinion. Now, one thing I will say, there's easier things than what we're even talking about right now. Remember, it was JD Vance. You know what? I want people to clip this part out that I'm going to say. Clip it, post it, and tag JD Vance.
Mhm.
Remember, JD Vance said, I don't think that those that committed violence on January 6th should be pardoned. We shouldn't pardon those people.
Yep.
Mr. Vice President Vance, how come over 250 violent January 6ers were pardoned? Huh? And how come all the remaining 12 that were commuted that haven't been pardoned yet, none of them committed violence? Let's go through the numbers here, Mr. JD Vance, and everybody in the pardon office, and everybody in the White House staff, and everybody in the U.S. Attorney's Office in D.C. Wink, wink, Judge Janine Pirro. Listen closely, because I'm doing this as a friend, as like someone, a part of the family. I'm trying to educate you. Yes, you may take my tone and demeanor as disrespectful, whatever. I'm trying to raise the red flag here. Do something simple. Number 1, 250 plus people out of the 1561 that were pardoned were violent. The reason why you pardoned them is because they didn't have the name Oath Keeper and Proud Boy by their name. What does that mean? Well, in order to continuing the false narrative of the insurrection for the Republican cucks and the Democrats, you have to have the boogeyman still in place, the
Yep.
political targets that you designated as Proud Boys and Oath Keepers. Let's go through the numbers. Stuart Rhodes, Kelly Meggs, Kenneth Harrelson, Jessica Watkins, Roberto Menuda, Edward Vallejo, David Morshell, and Joseph Hackett, they were not even charged nor convicted with the crime of violence. J.D. Vance, Judge Janine, Ed Martin. Okay? That's an automatic pardon, folks. What about the Proud Boys? Ethan Nordine, Joseph Biggs, Zachary Rail, and Dominic Pizzola. None of them committed violence. The only one of these 12 that arguably a stretch that you could say committed the violence that J.D. Vance is talking about is Dominic Pizzola.
And the window.
But let's go into the details of that. So the government witness, U.S. Capitol Police Officer, what does he testify to? Oh, Dominic Pizzola pulled my riot shield from me. Oh, that was such violence that he pulled it from me. That was the testimony. What did Dominic Pizzola testify to? He picked up the riot shield and walked around a little bit and then dropped it. Riddle me this. Picking up a riot shield and dropping it, is that violence?
No.
To you guys?
No.
You think the audience will consider it? You think anybody would consider that violence, J.D. Vance?
No, nobody with two brain cells to rub together.
Now, what about if I pulled the riot shield off of you? Is that, I mean, seriously, is that violence? Is that the violence that you're talking about, J.D. Vance?
No. I mean, that's getting to the point where you can stretch it in court. But yeah, no, it's not realistically
You stretch
violence.
it in a D.C. court of 97% domestic terrorist Democrats that will, if you blink, that's literally saying if you were in the crowd, you blinked, the molecule that you moved started to get in the direction of this police officer. Oh, the particle that he blinked at me, it kind of caught my eye. I couldn't see for a slight second. That's obstruction of law enforcement. Those are literally the trials that were going on.
Yeah.
So that's even assuming all of the lies were true in order to convict the Proud Boys and Dominic Pizzola, it still doesn't meet the threshold of violence, J.D. Vance. So then what do you have to stand on, sir?
Are you getting answers?
The system is embarrassing you, Mr. Vance.
So, Ivan, through your network, are people responding to you when you throw these questions their way that know these people are connected, or what kind of feedback are you getting when you're sarcastically making them look ridiculous?
Let's see. What do you think?
Obviously not a good one, or there be some action.
I would say that some action is done, but it also makes them mad that I do it the way that I do it.
Their egos.
But I try. I mean, I try to do it through the normal, polite, collegial, decorum-filled manner. But the time for that was January 21st. After January 21st, it's like, you're just not even paying attention.
That's been my point,
here's the water, here's the hose. You just need to open your mouth. I get it. You're thirsty. Just I'll open up your mouth for you. Here's the water, but I can't swallow it for you. Okay, I can lean your head back and pour it in your mouth. You still have to open your esophagus.
Yeah.
Hello.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing that's been killing me is, 3 months in, I understand it takes a little time to get some of these cases lined up, get all your facts in order to be able to present things to a judge.
No, but we haven't even pardoned people yet, is what I'm getting at.
Yeah.
We haven't pardoned 12 peaceful election justice rally attendees that Tulsi Gabbard is proving that the 2020 election was illegitimate in itself.
In the first place,
So all these criminal charges on the J6ers, basically 99% of them, guess what? $50 trespass. But oh, by the way,
bingo.
Why you were protesting? It was totally legitimate.
Yes, yeah. So Ivan, I was there, with my friend. He is a retired Cook County sheriff, and we left. We left. We were on the west side before they went past the police officers. Me and Rob left. Got back to the hotel. We're like, oh shit, they're in the Capitol. I was dressed to fight against Antifa and BLM. We weren't there to overthrow anything. We went there to seek Trump and protect people from being beat up by those scumbags. 2 years into it, I was put on a domestic terrorist watch list. Matt Gaetz read about it. He sent demand letters to Garland, Ray, and Mayorkas in my behalf, wanting to know, why did you put him on the domestic terrorist watch list? Because he peacefully attended January 6th, or as a vocal school board parent, because they had cops show up at the school board. And then, like, my wife and children, we went out to Charlie Kirk's thing. They were quad-assed. FBI
Yeah.
showed up on my front porch. They went after my job. Southern Poverty Law Center wrote this bullshit hit pieces on me, and I'm nobody, right? And then after Troy Neals got involved and Matt Gaetz, I was taken off the domestic terrorist watch list, but I lost my TSA pre-check. I had multiple investigations with my job, and then after Trump got after the inauguration, a month into it, I got my TSA pre-check back.
All right. Can I explain what happened there in detail?
Yeah, I was gonna say he's an expert on this one.
But before I do, let's pause that real quick because there's one more pardon I want to talk about.
Sure.
Remember, you heard of the guy named Chief Sund, former
Yeah.
U.S. Capitol Police Chief, testified, right? Basically said that
Yeah,
Nancy
yeah.
Pelosi ran the Fedsurrection. Tarek Johnson, another whistleblower, is also kind of talking about the U.S. Capitol Police. So we don't have a Metropolitan Police Department whistleblower, but we do. So the one guy that was going to testify truthfully as a witness in the Proud Boys trial was Shane Lamond. He was the head of intel for the Metropolitan Police Department. So this guy has, if there's any dirt to be had, he has dirt on the former Metropolitan Police Chief, Conti, who's actually a senior official at the FBI. Cash, hello, you listening? Conti, Contee, still there. He's got dirt on Michael Fanone.
I hate that piece of
Daniel
shit.
Hodges, Jason Bagshaw, that beat the living shit out of Victoria White. Remember that?
Yep.
These are all he's still employed at the MPD. Who else? Lila Morris, the one that brutally beat. Most people you could say that she murdered Roseanne Boylan, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
I'd say Shane Lamont has quite a bit of information that he could disclose to this new January 6th subcommittee that was just authorized last night for Barry Loudermilk to head. But guess what?
Oh, nice.
He was convicted of obstruction of justice as soon as they found out the left that this guy was going to testify to the Proud Boys trial and literally debunk the whole thing. They arrested him and then convicted him. And so he has to actually report on October 1st, which means he's not going to be in a position to support and help the J6 subcommittee to expose the mayor and her involvement in Pelosi's Fedsurrection, the MPD police chief, and all those officers that testified. That means they're probably not going to get to looking into Michael Fanone's communications with Nancy Pelosi.
Oh, really?
Wink, wink. How do I know that took place? He says it in his own book. Because I read it. I read all their books because they always leave breadcrumbs on where we need to look. So to close off the pardons, Shane Lamont needs to be pardoned so that he can be a whistleblower on everything MPD and their involvement in supporting the Pelosi Fedsurrection.
Mm-hmm.
And then the Oath Keepers and Proud Boys, you pardon all of them. Guess what? Those are another 12 witnesses that are ready, willing, and able to expose the political weaponization that occurred to them by the DOJ, by the courts, by the Bureau of Prisons, literally everything post-legislative branch weaponization, which has been my focus of exposure. Now, to go back to what you're saying, how did that take place? So your weaponization, just like mine, started off with the legislative branch. And here are the names. Ready to take notes?
Yeah, I got my marker right here.
Okay. Every single J6er, all 1,573, I think, or 4. To include President Trump, actually. So the 1575. Guess what? Nancy Pelosi, along with Mr. Tad DeBias, the general counsel of the U.S. Capitol Police, was directed, Nancy Pelosi directed Jamie Raskin to figure out what were the mechanisms and ways to guarantee the January 6th win for the Democrats. The only thing that they didn't think of countering was my play, but I've already talked about it ad nauseum. The whole Pence card play, and then the whole state delegation, one state, one vote play on January 6th, the parliamentary maneuver that would have guaranteed the reelection. So after that happened and January 6th happens with the coup inside of the Capitol, the folks that led the weaponization effort started at the Capitol, meaning the General Counsel of the Capitol Police pulled in all the CCTV footage, pulled in all the U.S. Capitol Police officers that had a blemish in their record that they could use as coercion for them to testify according to the Democrat narrative, meaning lie in their sworn testimony. So you have CCTV footage, only cropped out to areas where it looks like it's violent or whatever. And then since there was no audio on the CCTV footage by USCP, everything that was exculpatory was never disclosed for years.
Yeah.
So that the courts, that wasn't available publicly, one, and number two, they never sent it over to the DOJ and the FBI. Because remember, the legislative branch owns that evidence. And if they don't want to release it under Title II U.S. Code Section 1979, they just say, hey, it's security information, and we're not going to release it. Because the legislative branch owns it. Oh, you want to FOIA it? Sorry, FOIA applies only to the executive branch. Oh, you want to go to court just like Tom Fitton did with, what's his organization?
Yeah, I forgot.
Judicial Watch? You want to sue
yes.
the legislative branch so that we release it because it's exculpatory evidence? Sorry, the Brady rule only applies to the executive branch's prosecution, not to the legislative branch. So that's how they were able to maintain all exculpatory evidence. And it was only the doctored, manipulated, curated CCTV footage with perjurious testimony that was sent over, along with the FBI incriminating Facebook posts. By the way, remember at that time, Facebook was a surrogate of the FBI, so was Twitter 1.0. So then they took that and only did the incriminating evidence. And anytime a J6 defendant wanted to bring in evidence to the court that was exculpatory, meaning showed that, no, they were actually trying to help cops, whatever, what did the judge rule? No, we can't bring that in. That's on, for whatever reason. We'll just rely on the government's, Facebook's good, Twitter's good, because FBI controls that. And then the CCTV footage, we love that stuff because we already know that's manipulated to the fullest. And yeah, we'll take all the U.S. Capitol Police officers' testimony. Harry Dunn, yeah, bring it on. Bring all of his lies on. David Lazarus, let's bring all of his lies in. Let's bring in, who else? Acanilo Ganell's lies. And yeah, perfect. Now we got it all. And now you're convicted already in the court of public opinion because the J6 hearings are going on with all their lies and manipulation.
And their ABC producer on prime time. Yeah.
Right. So while this is going on, finally getting to your question or comment about as it applies to you, the January 6th committee starts in July of 2021. The chairman is selected as Benny Thompson. Oh, why do you think Pelosi did that? It's because he was also the chair of the Homeland Security Committee. And so what's the first thing that Benny Boy Thompson does? He writes a little memo to Ali Mayorkas. And he says, hey, why don't you go down this list? See, there's Ivan Raiklin right there. And all this other people here, to include one of the hosts here, Winky Winky. Why don't you go ahead and investigate them? And while you're at it, let's put them on the Quiet Skies program so that we put them on what's known as the Quad S treatment, also known as the Fourth Amendment gang rape treatment.
Right.
As you travel the country.
No due process.
Meanwhile, in my instance, I was in the reserves, lieutenant colonel, top secret clearance, clear since it started as a program, TSA pre-check since it started as a program, the safest traveler in the program. Okay. Fully vetted. Oh, global interest, traveler in the program. Okay. Fully vetted. Oh, global time. I just said, hey man, I'm Quiet Skies program. Why don't you go ahead and call TSA? Let them know I'm here. Let's just get this. Let's get this going here. Save my first rodeo, and then make sure they're ready at the gate. You know what? Let's have a dozen of them. Right?
Yeah.
And they go
For
through
my
it.
secondary pat down.
Yeah.
I've already been gang raped by 6 before. Let's go double.
Yeah.
Dozen. Let's get the dirty dozen treatment.
Yeah.
And you know what the rest happened. So basically, it was the general counsel of the Capitol Police, Tad DeBias, who's still there, Thomas Aquinas DeBias, nicknamed Tad DeBias, worked to develop the evidence to lay 2 of the 4, mostly it was the 4 misdemeanors. 2 of the 4 misdemeanors, the same evidence that was compiled by the general counsel was then sent over to the FBI for them to lay on the Title 18 charges, and that created the 4 original misdemeanors. And since Pelosi and company wanted to go after Trump, they had to create and concoct a legal theory to go after them, so they had to go after their political targets. The Proud Boys, the Oath Keepers. So how do we go after them? Oh crap! Enrique Tarrio wasn't even in D.C. that day. That's okay. We can loop him in under a theory called seditious conspiracy. But wait, no one committed violence, and no, that's okay. They entered the Capitol, and all we have to do is manipulate some more. You know what? Let's get one of the Proud Boys and coerce him into testifying that it was a seditious conspiracy, even though the dude wasn't even in D.C. You know his name?
He just came out and begged for forgiveness. So I forgot his name.
The interview that Enrique just did with it'll come to me, his name, from North Carolina.
I forgot his name.
And so that's how they looped in the Proud Boys through false coerced testimony and blocked out the witness that would have testified to the truth credibly, the Metropolitan Police Department officer, head of intel. Same thing happened with the Oath Keepers.
Yeah.
Wait, if you ask a normal person, Oath Keepers, Stuart Rhodes, he's the worst person in the history of humanity.
He wasn't.
And then you're like, hey, by the way, here's all the video of where he was. He actually never entered the Capitol.
Never was it.
That's impossible. No, it's actually legit. You're just a dumbass that fed into the lies of both faux news, the Mike Pence, Paul Ryan disinformation outlet, and the MSLSD Criminal News Network, which is Nancy Pelosi's disinformation news outlet.
Yeah.
That's why we're doing a podcast here, because they do not report truthfully. None of them.
New.
I got another question for you. So there's 3 phases of my life. Everyone that knows, like 35 years ago, I got in trouble. Was a young Italian guy, got recruited by Chicago guys. I got in trouble. I went away. Changed my life in 35 years. Then I went to work for one of the biggest international consulting firms in the world for 22 years. I just got laid off because of my politics after 22 years, finally. And then the political aspect of my life, right? The politics and all the stuff that I've been doing. So like 15 years ago, I ran FOIAs on myself because I was curious, on DEA, ATF, and FBI. So I got FOIA pages coming back from the DEA and ATF, 0 on the FBI, which I was shocked, and that's a good thing. So I just in May, out of curiosity, I ran FOIA on myself as a 60-year-old man from 2020 to May. The FBI comes back with 343 pages, 0 when I should have had them. 343 as a 60-year-old man, and so I wanted to see it, right? They said that it'll take me 48 months to get them all, but if I get the first 50 pages, they'll give them to me 9 months. The hell is that? So obviously we know why.
Sounds like Pfizer.
It's it's kind of crazy. So I'm waiting to get my first 50 pages. I should have actually asked for the other 48. I'm sorry, 343. And there's something fishy going on to have that many pages at my age, right? I haven't done anything wrong in 35 years. Went to college, did a 180, and they got a whole pile on me. Is an old guy now because I was peacefully at January 6th. I was a vocal school board dad. I confronted Pritz.
So now it's our turn.
Yeah.
Right? They did the FA on us, right? FA on us. Now we do the FO. But in order to do the
Exactly.
FO, we got to have varsity players representing us, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
And we
Yes.
only have we have a team, right, of 15 cabinet level officials, and I would give good high grades to.
Most of them. Yeah.
So Tulsi, obviously, Pete Hegseth's crushing it lately
Mm-hmm.
with the
Scott
meeting that he
Bessent's
had
doing great.
yesterday.
Even Marco Rubio is
But
doing a decent job.
Rubio is
Yeah.
surprisingly, yeah.
Yeah.
But I will say this: hold up, Rubio. Would you give him an A grade?
I wouldn't give him
I
an A, but he's definitely, like you said, I think he's been a surprise. He's done much better than I thought he would.
Yeah. Yeah.
Now, what if I added a few things to you?
Well, let me hear.
Sure.
Right? What if I added the following facts and then maybe you adjust your grade? 193 countries on the planet, right?
Yeah.
We have
Mhm.
diplomatic representation to all but 2, and then international organizations. How many confirmed ambassadors of those are there? Just throw a ballpark percentage this far.
Well, I know it's a trick question, so I'll say 70.
How about you flip that and subtract another 15%?
Wow.
Good Lord,
It's
really?
like it's barely 10%.
Wow.
Yeah, I know a few people that are in line for ambassadorships and
Barely
they still haven't moved
10%.
on them.
So then it begs the question, who's involved in the appointing ambassador process here and confirmation process? I would suspect that
Group.
the Secretary of State
Yeah.
is going to be involved in that. The Senate
Yeah.
Foreign Relations Committee Chairman, Risch, is going to be involved in that. The Senate Majority Leader is going to be involved in that, Thune, and the President.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So if somebody's doing 10% work
Mhm.
of staffing, would you give that an A?
No.
10%.
Yeah. Sounds like an F to me. 10%.
Sounds like an F to me on that
Could you
front.
explain to like guys that went to junior college for 12 years what that deficient number of people in those roles mean to us as a country?
I'll make a great question. So, in simple terms, that means 90% of the diplomatic corps currently representing President Trump are Biden criminal syndicate holdovers
Yeah, that's huge. That's all I
Exactly.
can say.
that are
Yeah.
undermining our entire foreign policy ecosystem.
Wow.
Yeah, I think there's
That's at best.
there's 3 or 4 that Biden left that Trump appointed, and otherwise they're basically all Biden appointments. There's a few that have been there since Trump's first term, and then a handful of other ones that have been appointed. But there's plenty of people like Sheriff Mack that are still waiting in line. But there's an ambassadorship to El Salvador. And yeah, nothing's been done on this.
Wow.
Is that pretty in your
Yeah.
face?
Yeah, it is. Yeah, it is. Yeah.
Now, what do you think?
That should
How's
be
Rubio doing?
I would bring him down. So
That's kind of important, isn't it?
yeah,
Oh, by the way, do we have a national security advisor?
I would bring him down to a C, but the reason
Oh,
one
wait,
reason
that's Rubio, isn't it? Dual-hatted.
that's
Do we
right.
have a
Yes.
national archivist?
So,
Oh, wait, it's Rubio. That's right.
so
Oh,
who's
do we have a
fault?
director of the USAID? Oh, wait,
Oh, that's
yeah,
also
that's
Rubio.
Rubio.
But who's
Oh,
fault
maybe
is
you
that?
know what? Maybe he's got his portfolio includes 190 ambassadorships too. Man, he's pretty good. He's like AI without the A.
Whose fault is that he has that many jobs? And I love Trump, right? So why is that happening?
You tell me.
I have no
Everyone knows the answer.
I
It's
don't
the elephant stampede in the room.
Congress is worthless.
All right, so everyone knows what the answer is.
Yeah.
Next, if you go to the American Foreign Service Association, okay, at afsa.org. If you don't believe me, you think, "Oh, Ivan's just instigating. He's always hateful, this and that." Nah, I mean, I'm just being in your face, right? Now, if I mess up and I do something bad, if I'm getting less than an A plus, whatever, come at me.
Mhm.
I like it. I enjoy it because when you come at me with actual cold hard facts,
Yeah, facts, right.
Yeah.
I'm gonna look at them and say, you know what? Not bad. Pretty good information. I now respect you more because you actually did a little bit more homework than I did.
Mhm.
Iron sharpens iron here. Thank
Right.
you. And you can say it in a punk way too.
Yeah,
Be like, hey man, you always talk, Ivy, you talk smack all the time about other people not doing the right thing. Now I'm going to come at you. I'm like, okay, fair enough. I'm a big boy. Bring it. So with that said, if you go to AFSA and you take a look, I think I'm trying to find exactly where there's a section where it lists the current ambassadorships. You know what? Let me do a quick search. ambassador.
Hey,
They do the tracking. Here we go. List of ambassador appointments.
Go ahead.
So it's AFSA.org/list-ambassadorial-appointments. And I can drop that in here so you can pull it up so that I think it'll help if you screen share. Whoops.
Can you do that, Mike?
Wrong chat.
I want to ask
bad.
you. I want to ask you who's running Sedition Hunters when you're done with this, if you knew, or if you have any idea.
No, I haven't done a deep dive on those guys, but it seems like a couple times people have asked me about them. It might be time to start adding them to the deep state target list.
Yeah.
As nominees. So if anybody's listening in wants to provide some information with actual evidence of who these individuals are, I would be happy to start scrutinizing them.
Sure.
You know, basic stuff, where they live, who they're related to, vehicle, make, model, type, you know, where they work, residence, etc.
Yeah,
I have
basic
some names
information.
I'll talk to you offline about.
Yeah, so we'll take a look at this, right? Current ambassadorships. Man, there's still a lot of vacant. And wow, there's some Biden holdovers. Yeah.
So I got a question. It's not
Good job, huh?
It's not in defense for Rubio. First of all, I liked him a lot when he first started. Then I hated the guy, right? And then one reason I gave him an A is because he shocked me, but because I hated him so much. But
yeah.
If he has
No, his rhetoric's nice, but how about we get some ambassadorships of people that have America First values to start cracking skulls globally,
with him,
particularly with the focus on cracking China's skull.
So how does something like that? I've never been involved in politics till 4 years ago. This shit's all new. I got involved because of my kids and the porn and the transvestites, and then I just kind of exploded. But how he has a big job like that, and he's got all these other jobs. So how do you got a full plate? How do you balance, prioritize the ambassadorships and all this other shit that's in, you know what I mean?
How do you prioritize? You just don't do your job, as we see. You just like say, you know what, I'm all for. Look at me, I'm awesome. Meanwhile, when you look underneath that first layer, okay, great.
But I think getting the right ambassadors are.
But I say this from a place of love, because I'm trying to succeed here.
Yeah.
I don't want to settle for a D- here, America. We're trying to incrementally increase towards that A+ of the what you called earlier. How do we get to normal, a certain sense of normalcy? How about we just? It's one thing to blame it on John Thune and say, "Oh, he's not confirming anybody." But let's take a look.
Look at all
We
these
haven't
all
even
vacant.
look at. There's only been a handful of nominees. Most of them, you haven't even appointed anyone yet.
Yeah. So you guys are clear real quick. Let me just interject this. Third column over, that's if there's a nominee been appointed. Current ambassadors, you'll see the second column, mostly vacant. I mean, this is pathetic. Look at some of these. Confirmed in 2021, pending. This is pathetic.
And when people are saying, "Oh, wait, it's old information. This is an outdated chart." Look at Bangladesh. How outdated is that? The nomination happened 2 days ago. Okay.
Yeah.
So this is a current form. This is a current template. Or Bahrain, September 2nd, 2025.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, this is as close as you're going to get. I don't really care if they have it up. They certainly didn't fill all these vacancies in the last 3 days. So let's just go with that.
So here's the big question that everybody in the country is asking them. My friends, and they think because I got a podcast, I know fucking everything, right? Is there ever going to be like with the A players, the zero players, whatever in between? Are people going to get arrested? And there's going to be consequences for what they did? Because we have guests on the show, right, that are on our side. But some of them say, "Oh, you don't want to weaponize the government, because then it looks." It's like, no, we have to go after the people that are validly criminals. They really did shit wrong. And if we don't go after, who gives a shit what it looks like? As long as it's a valid arrest, we have evidence, we can't let these people get away with it. And if they do, we're fucked. The country's fucked. If these people aren't held accountable now, they never will. The Democrats or even the Republicans will get in and they'll say, "You know what? These guys got away with it. I'm going to get away with it." So is anybody ever, do you think, going to eventually be held accountable by somebody in this administration?
Why don't you play those 2 videos and then I'll answer it afterwards.
All right. Here's
start
the first
with
one.
the second one.
All right, give me a second. I got to flip him over then.
Yeah, while he's doing that, I say
start with the Mark Milley one.
Okay.
And then go with the
So,
The
Ivan, I
ones
say this all the time, and this when you first said this in the beginning about trying to recruit people, I said that most people, we're in a war. Most people don't even realize we're in a war, and we're losing badly, right? And I can't, one way I gauge, you hear people say, "Oh, they come to America. Well, I got my AR-15. I'm gonna fuck them up," right? I can't get fathers to show up to a school board to say a blowjob doesn't belong in their daughter's school. So how are we gonna, fight this fight when the men turn into weasels? You don't have enough men standing up for their own child. I don't have politicians supposed to be Republican on my side and my daughter on the same volleyball team. I go, would you help me? I'm getting attacked by the left. Say porn doesn't belong in our kid's school. Oh,
So here's where I got to flip the negativity here and actually frame it this way.
all right.
All the complaining and all the what we just saw with the evidence that it's total shit show, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Again, we went from a completely tyrannical at 100% level.
Mhm.
So we went from negative 100
Mhm.
past 0 to where 0 is where we're no longer pretty much weaponized against.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And now we're getting into the 10% range of like it's still failure,
Yeah.
but that's the progress we've made. It's massive progress.
Mhm.
So when you look at it from that perspective, we're moving the ball down the field.
Mhm.
And I would say that we're now past the 50-yard line.
Mhm.
Have we scored yet? No. We're barely making first downs, but we've
Yes.
consistently been able to make first downs. It's literally 4th and long, and we barely make it with a millimeter to spare over the last whatever. And so the video that you're about to show is going to start to answer your exact question. When are the arrests? When is the accountability? When is the justice? When is the comeuppance? When is the retribution? And when is the all of the above?
Yes.
Please.
All right. Let's roll this.
Remember that, Millie?
Yes.
So I confronted him. I just broke my leg a few weeks before that. That's why I was limping around. And so I had to confront him. I mean, these guys are testifying before Congress. I'm going to have an opportunity to essentially talk to them because he was the one behind implementing the unlawful jab mandate within the DOD that threw out 8,600 of my closest friends. And actually, about 100,000 of my closest friends just said, you know what? I'm not going to participate in this lawlessness.
Yeah.
And the other thing that I did, if you play the next one, you guys heard of Dr. Walensky, the former CDC director?
Yeah.
Yes.
What about the Anthony Fauci?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
All right, let's roll it.
Hey, Dr. Walensky. Ivan Raiklin. Jab. You guys director?
Yeah.
Anthony Fauci.
All right, let's roll it.
Hey, Dr. Walensky. Ivan Raiklin.
Hey, Tony, are you sad that you're in the number 3 spot as it applies to murdering people throughout the entire world after Stalin and Hitler? Sure. How many people do you think you murdered based on your policies along with Mike Pence at the White House Coronavirus Task Force? How much did Mike Pence know about your involvement in taking not only millions of dollars according to the documentation, but also you subsequently funding the Wuhan Institute of Virology that ended up destroying America's economy, as well as destroying millions of people, whether it was through the myocarditis-making jabs, the DNA mutilation injections that were never approved by the FDA. There was a bait and switch. It was legally distinct, meaning you were forcing the injections of emergency use authorized products into our military service members that destroyed our readiness.
So what do you think about being a defendant in Nuremberg 2.0, sir?
Why does he still get security? He's not.
They just made all these hundreds of millions of dollars.
I really look forward to it.
He has so much security because he's so hated. He's killed so many people. My son has
All
myocarditis.
that myocarditis, all those heart explosions with the
My nephew, 100% disabled
Grandmother's dead.
from the Navy. He's 28.
Traitor.
You did this.
what's on it for you. Legally, morally,
Hell is gonna
and
suck.
ethically
It's gonna be
to the max.
hot. I hope you like the heat.
And that goes for your staff as well. Is child neglect, child endangerment, child asphyxiation, battery, especially when you don't have the consent of the parent and the child. All of these are felonies, all of which you're a participant in,
You're going to
Mr.
prison.
Fauci, as well as everyone involved in the COVID con.
Will you be disappointed if in 12 months from now somebody hasn't been hung for treason or executed for treason?
Will I be disappointed? I think the nation will be furious if that does not happen.
What's next? Hopefully there'll be some retribution.
Nice. Nice. You're my hero.
Yeah, bro. So
Nice.
it comes down to, I'm almost of the opinion that if this Department of Justice is going to continue to fail us, you're going to start to see Good Samaritans
Yeah.
stretching and dropping off the Comeys and the Brennans at the front door of the Department of Justice, zip tied
I hope so.
with duct tape.
I hope they're held accountable. And if not, I hope they're zip tied and dropped off.
And on the duct tape, don't be surprised if it says for processing.
Hey, I could probably call up some of my old Dago buddies from the 80s and 90s. I'm joking. It's a joke.
So we're at a point here where at what point does America decide that, you know what, we've had enough of our friends, family,
Excuses.
and neighbors being murdered?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
We've had enough of our friends, neighbors, family, and relatives being mutilated, our children being mutilated, our DNA being mutilated. Meanwhile, what did we just see today? Who was in the White House? Bill Gates?
Yeah. Yeah. Well, yeah, he wants
Sitting
more
right
funding
there
for.
next to who? Advocating
Sorry.
for his mutilation devices and products?
Yeah, he wants to go kill more kids overseas.
So, again, we only have a few people in the administration that, from my perspective, are actually doing what is necessary. Bobby Kennedy and Ron Johnson are the tip of the spear when it comes to showcasing. It's going to be a hard pill to swallow when a majority of the Democrats and Republicans will be completely devoured by the people.
Yeah.
We're at a point right now where, as the evidence is shown, equate it to this. I use this analogy going into the illegal 2020 election and its certification.
Mm-hmm.
I think more and more Americans are becoming piranhas that have, with every day, have not eaten.
Mhm.
Okay. And as more and more meat is put in front of those piranhas, the frenzy is going to start kicking in.
I hope so.
So when I said to that criminal news network reporter that came up to me with his entire, whatever you call it, his gang.
Yeah.
When I said the country's going to be furious, I mean, I was being diplomatic.
Mm-hmm.
Well, yeah.
Think of what the maximum is when you say someone's furious. I'm talking about the maximum in its mental and physical manifestation.
Mhm.
So if I don't see a path where at least some of the folks are not held to account. And if it's not done by January of 2026,
Mhm.
Yeah.
I'm not sure. I don't think it's going to be a conventional path forward for this country at all. If you thought it
Agreed.
was unconventional with the 2 assassination attempts
Yeah.
already,
I agree.
and I think it's going to come from both sides.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I mean,
On
that's the
one
thing.
side, they're going to be yelling and screaming the lies. On the other side, the rage and fury of no accountability. At the end of the day, the elephant stampede in the room is going to be addressed.
I just hope
Exactly.
there's people that are more willing to do more than just bitch and whine on Facebook.
Well,
That's my concern.
Well, the
I do
problem is that
think,
they're still on Facebook.
yeah,
Remember, they're still on Facebook, the surrogate of the former FBI.
yes. Project, was it Life, what the hell was the DARPA project it was under originally? Project Life something or other.
Yeah, I was just
Yeah.
taken down again. I was taken down after January 6th, 2 weeks after January 6th, and then I just got taken down like a month and a half ago for good.
So again, let me just caveat everything I've said so far. It's in my personal capacity as Ivan Raiklin. And I always advocate, all my First Amendment is always the sounds that I make are within my First Amendment protected speech, peacefully, patriotically, legally, morally, and ethically, as I advocate for the maximum allowable punishment under the law in all cases. Maximum punishment under the law.
Yes.
Yep. I mean, it's great that these documents are being released and we're all being proven correct in our assertions over the last 4 to 11 years.
Exactly.
we need results. I'm sick and tired of watching documents come out and then no action, no handcuffs, no 6 a.m. raised, no doors being kicked in. Oh, great. We got the other mustache man. Bolton got his door kicked in and we raided his house.
That wasn't even a raid. They just walked in and grabbed some electronic devices.
Well, to your point. So yeah, even they're still fighting these people with kid gloves, and most of us are sick and tired of this. Well, we saw what's gone on. We've seen the media blatantly lie to everybody, tote this deep state lie, but we're just seeing inaction from the DOJ, or even simple steps that could be taken, like reinstating the Smith-Mundt Act, so they're no longer allowed to propagandize the American people. Tulsi Gabbard's talked about releasing information on whatever Project Mockingbird mutated into. I've been calling it Project Parakeet. Or Operation Parakeet. But anyway, it's time to see that too. We know these things are still going on. We have to expose the cancer. Sunlight's the only disinfectant that's acceptable, and we need people in handcuffs. We need real accountability. I get that some of these trials are going to take time, but even if you want to look at it from a purely political perspective, going into the 2026 election with 50 prominent Democrats and a number of deep state Republicans on the hot seat, ongoing trials, I mean, what better campaign could there possibly be than a campaign for justice?
So guess what, folks? September, early voting in Virginia and New Jersey is kicking off this month.
Yeah.
For governor. Here's what's going to happen. That I don't know, all these geniuses in the White House, and they're like, I know everything. We got to make these political decisions and calculuses. How about this? Riddle me this, geniuses. What are you going to do when the Democrats win in Virginia, the governorship, the attorney general's race, and the lieutenant governor? Let's just focus only on the attorney general's race. If I'm a Democrat, this is what I'm going to do as the attorney general in Virginia. I am going to immediately arrest every single cabinet official that has an office in Virginia. Who are they? Tulsi Gabbard. Who are they? Pete Hegseth in Arlington at the Pentagon, and everyone that lives in Northern Virginia in the administration that is a threat, so that I can win the next electoral cycle in 2026 that leads me into 2028. So those that are ignoring the Virginia AG and governor's race, guess what? This move past the 50-yard line stops on January of 2026. because the election is in November in Virginia. So as
Mhm.
early as January of 2026, everything stops. And that's when the attorney general in Virginia is going to do not the exact same thing that Letitia James and Fannie Willis and Alvin Bragg did. That individual is going to do an order of magnitude times 1 trillion against Trump and his family. That equates to they will slaughter them.
Yeah.
How many Trump
Yep.
properties are in Virginia? Guess what? You no longer have them because the Democrats just took over Virginia. So if you want to play slow roll, you want to have a nice little Pam Bondi that wants to act like, I don't know, John Durham and regurgitate everything that we already knew years before John Durham pushed his report out. Great. You want to commit suicide? I guess that's your choice.
Yep.
But I have a vested interest in my country and my state just as much as you, White House. So let's see how this plays out. I'm going to keep embarrassing and advocating and motivating
Please do.
and educating those that want to learn how we get into a better position.
Well,
I know it wasn't polite, but like I'm I'm saying it in a very brutal way because I'm trying to get to a better position. I mean, hopefully people see that it's a good faith. I'm a good faith asshole, okay?
Well, yeah, and you're right. We have to think like our enemies do. The left will not stop. They don't care about what is legal. They care about what they can get away with, and even then, sometimes they don't care about that. It's what can they do now to stop their political enemies and destroy our country. We've got to start fighting back with the same veracity that they do. We've got to go pursue all legal paths. We've got to do whatever it takes. That means the process being the punishment, and that takes some pieces off the board. That's how we have to pursue it. This kid gloves, namby-pamby wuss barely fighting back has got to
toxic,
end.
feckless, stone cold coward, gutless simps.
Bingo. Yes. Exactly. Yep. I'm sick and tired of it, and this needs to turn around immediately. There's no more waiting. Again, the first 3 months to get your ass in gear and get your cases in order, fine. Anything after that, they're wasting our time.
Yeah. And I love the name of the show, by the way, before we close.
Thank you.
I'm literally the red dot in this entire Northern Virginia area. I love it.
I believe
just
it.
like a Green Beret, right?
Illinois.
I'm behind enemy lines. I mean, I can't miss. It's like you don't even need to aim.
I got Abraham Lincoln in fatigues. That's him. If you can tell that. It's stuck in Illinois, man.
Yep.
Well, wait, this was a great show. I want to have you back because I could listen to you all night. And look forward to next time. I'm going to have to spend more time having a drink with you. And I saw you at that PSA thing. It was great having you on. I appreciate it.
Well, thanks for having me, guys. I appreciate it.
Well, we'll
Sorry
definitely
for
get
the
you
little
back
hiccup.
on.
Started a little late. Trying to get the
we'll
tech
blame
working.
it on tech problems. Exactly. It's we'll blame it on tech problems.
Blame it on Bill Gates because his Microsoft browser wasn't working for me.
That's right.
Yeah. It's probably what it is. But yeah, thank you again for joining us tonight, Ivan. Yeah, we'll have to get you back on here soon. To our audience, please like, share, and subscribe. Help us to grow so we can bring more people the news the mainstream media doesn't want you to hear. We'll be back next Tuesday with even more.
I didn't even talk about the big earth-shattering news.
Oh, no.
Oh.
What was it?
Hang on. Let me, I haven't disconnected everything yet.
All right, go ahead. Earth-shattering. We're back on. Come on.
I should wait to announce it. I'm going to wait.
Oh, no.
How about this? Take a look at who's suing me. Just do a quick search and who that is. And in their last filing, her lawyer wrote in the filing that I'm the lead suspect. This person's suing me for defamation, and allegedly I'm the lead suspect in the attempted bombing of the DNC on January 6th.
Oh, that's hilarious. Hang on, I'm pulling it up right now.
Well, how does that relate to defamation of this individual? I have no clue.
Oh my God.
And secondarily, I would think that if I was the lead suspect in the DNC pipe bomb, the entire Republican and Democrat Party establishment would be plastering it everywhere on both faux news and the MSLSD and Criminal News Network platforms. I mean, that would be my guess.
And
Ivan, you're gonna love. So
sorry,
Ivan,
go ahead.
in court this afternoon. So in Illinois, if you remember, 4 years ago, Pritzker.
We're still live, by the way.
Yeah. So 4 years ago, Pritzker invested $30 million into the Republican primary. This year, we got a Democrat running for governor. He's been attacking me big time. So he's making up all this shit about me, about my past. That was bad enough, but he's making up all kinds of crazy stuff. He also said that I planted both pipe bombs at January 6th, but you got one of them. So how could I?
Bro. Well, no, because allegedly I only got the DNC, so I don't know about the RNC thing.
Hey, the prick that's I want to say his name. We're in court right now. See, this guy did one. I did the other one.
Here, I thought it was Marjorie Taylor Greene that planted both of them. Wasn't that the rumor before?
Yeah. I mean, it's a toss up. I guess you throwing in like a curveball. I didn't know that. I thought it was me and Marjorie Taylor Greene like melded into one human being, and somehow we just miraculously through AI and
I'll send you the
deep fakery.
You'll laugh.
We're able to pull it off.
He said I was a gay stripper when I was younger too. He's running for governor. So, well, thank you, man.
All right, guys. Yeah, thanks
Lots
again.
Of problems.
Yeah, it's Chicago. There's no fixing it. All right, guys.
But anyway, let me close on a positive note, though. So seriously, all the complaining and people are like, oh, Ivan's blackpilling this and that. At the end of the day, like, bro, we're in a better spot than we were. The worst we were at was in February of 2021, and since then we've been just grinding them to the ground. Now, have we? We pushed them. They're fearing that some of them are fleeing the country, but nothing has happened lawfully in the kinetic sense that I would love to see.
Yes. Yeah, and that's the thing.
Lawfully.
I'm glad that things have improved in a lot of areas. We're in a much better place. We're obviously getting truth out now and finding out what's really going on. But that's not an excuse for inaction. I'm not here to be a cheerleader. If they're doing well, I'm happy to congratulate them. But when there's failures like this, it's our duty to point it out and get them back on track. So
100%.
Guys, again, thank you for joining us.
It's time.
Yeah, exactly. All right, guys, we'll be back on